disturb him.
Okay.
All right. Here we are back at Maple Grove Raceway with Jay Blake and Follow a Dream Racing Team. And we were here last September, and it was our very first on-site podcast ever. And from there, that's all we did then from there on, just about. So you basically were our guinea pig, and it worked that good here that we just decided we can travel all over the place.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So last podcast with Jay, which you can look up in our YouTube channel, Retro Bar Podcast. It's in the library with all other podcasts. So you can look back on that. But today we're going to talk about some different stuff with Jay, catch up where he's at since we were here last time, and talk about a little bit different subjects.
We're a little closer to the track this time.
Yes, his
trailer
is you'll hear cars in the background here.
Yes, a little closer.
You'll get
to
the
track.
feel of the drag strip. All right, Jay. Well, welcome back, and thanks for inviting us again.
Yes, thank you.
If it wouldn't be for you, I would have never in my life been at Maple Grove. I can pretty much say that.
Well, we're glad to have you here. It's a very exciting sport, and it's nice to introduce people to it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
We like to call it the Great Science Project, and in the world of education today, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and this is the epitome of that.
Right.
It's what it's all about.
And speaking of education and STEM, I've seen, since we met with you last September, a number of Facebook posts where you have stopped at schools.
Go Tech schools
And
specifically, I guess.
given presentations. What are you talking about there?
The speaking program of Follow Dream. Follow Dream is a non-profit educational corporation designed to educate children and adults on the power of positive thinking, self-determination, and teamwork. So we speak in a lot of middle schools, high schools, colleges, and talk about 5 tools for your life's toolbox: a positive attitude, education, passion, determination, and teamwork. And with those 5 tools, you can accomplish your goals and your dreams. And the presentation is not automotive based. It's about the 5 tools. My dream and what I have done happens to be about racing. But the presentation itself is based on the 5 tools and how you can use them to pursue your goals and dreams. And we do sales groups and corporate groups, and just how those 5 tools are used in our lives.
Yeah, that's good. I know Ephrata School District, they have a program that is Life Ready Graduate, and it looks forward past the math and the science and just looking at doing the work, putting in perspective, like you're saying, and in the big picture. This is what you could do with what you learn. So you go to school, well, like we did, and you learned all this, and you get out of school, and you're like, okay, well, I know how to do math, I know English, I know, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff? And it seems like what you're trying to teach is all these different math and science and English and everything that's included in that. The package and what you do with it, what you've done with it is amazing, and what you can do, what you've surpassed in your life, and the challenges you've had.
Yes, it's so important in life. When I was in school, nobody told us we weren't supposed to know the answer.
So true.
And it's important for me because I was not a great student, and this is what Follow Dream was really based around, was trying to educate and motivate kids that school is important, that it is important to get an education, but it is okay not to know the answer. It is okay to ask questions, because, I graduated high school, I started my career as an auto technician, and when I started Follow Dream, I knew nothing how to start a business or how to run a race team or any of that.
Right.
I had to educate myself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's a big passion to motivate kids to to believe in themselves, to get an education, and to believe in their dreams.
Right.
So that's really what it's all based around.
And if they're chasing their dream, if you will, they'll be more apt to be motivated and enjoy. They're doing something that they have a passion about. Where depending what job you get, if it's not something you really enjoy, you sort of run into a dead end. You have no motivation, you have no passion.
Right.
But if you're chasing your dream, the motivation ought to be there.
And you're not going to know that at age 18.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, like 18, pick your career.
Right.
How are you supposed to do that? Several jobs. I was 25 before I became the cops. Before I finally focused on, you know what? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is good. But that surely didn't come without several jobs and knowing, well, this don't work.
Yeah.
This is not the answer. And not at 18.
Yeah, it's interesting because my entire life, I always knew I wanted to work on cars. And I got into racing very young. I got into racing through my older brother. And so I always knew what I wanted to do. And I found it funny as I grew older that nobody did really know.
No.
And that was my problem. I wanted to work on cars. I didn't really care about history. And I wasn't, I didn't think those things applied to my career.
Right.
And that's one of the things I like to tell the kids when I go to school. Doesn't matter what you want to do with your life. The things you learn in high school are giving you the foundation for the rest of your life, no matter what you're doing.
Right.
So that's really the passion.
But you are in the minority of having known at an early age what it was you wanted to do, and it actually turned out to what, at this age, it's still what you want to do.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that I thought I might want to do when I was young, but it didn't pan out. But you're one of the rare ones that knew and followed through, and it actually was what you wanted to do. At the end of the day, it was what you wanted to do.
Yes, and it was. I didn't get, when I got older, I realized exactly that I was in the minority.
Yeah. You are.
Yeah.
You are. I mean, and that's a good thing, but...
and then...
They've always told me I'm a little different.
Or you just got lucky and knew...
Well, that's good. And then to know what you want to do at age 31... Is that when your accident happened?
That's when my accident happened.
That's an excellent memory, Paul.
At age 31, your accident happened, and that potentially could have changed your career path and what you really wanted to do, but you followed your dream and continued. This is what I'm going to continue to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and it's amazing.
And the whole racing started after the accident.
Right. Actually, the accident helped you. I mean, sad as it was, the accident actually helped you achieve your ultimate dream.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If that wouldn't have happened, sad as it was, you might just still be working at the same place, doing the same thing you were doing back prior to your accident.
Right. Yeah, you never know. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But, what I like to say is I want to motivate kids to follow their dreams, and they don't have to get hit in the head as hard as I
did. A little smack outside the head.
Right.
But not that hard.
Right, exactly.
And do you find when you do go to these schools, and I'm not around a lot of kids these days, but do you feel like the majority of them are actually sort of paying attention to you when you talk, or are they goofing around, not even listening? Do they seem to be attentive to what your message is?
Yes,
okay,
they seem to be attentive, and I will say the most common statement from staff is, "Oh my God, I have never heard this group this quiet for this long."
So that means a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a wonderful compliment.
Right,
but the kids are really listening, and what's the most amazing thing is really when you see kids or adults even now that heard my presentation years ago and they still remember the basics to work through the difficult times and follow your dreams. There's been an impact, and that's amazing that I've had that opportunity.
Well, it is. I mean, that in itself is, I mean, you're doing, that is probably more important on a worldly scale than your racing.
Oh, absolutely. As I say to people, when it's all over, the things I will remember more than anything is not the trophies we've won. It's the people that we've made a difference.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
And it is a good feeling.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Yes.
Yes. So when you're talking to the kids and within the schools, and so how are you? So you live in Massachusetts. Do you run like the East Coast and connect with schools there, or where do you concentrate your talks?
My speaking, we will go anywhere. We had major corporate sponsorship for 14 years, and then there were some changes, and we're currently looking for sponsorship again.
Okay.
But when we travel with the race car, we used to speak all around the races that we traveled to.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have spoken all over the country. I've done corporate events in Mexico and Canada.
Wow.
And right now we're doing stuff all throughout the Northeast. I stopped in Connecticut right outside New York on my way down here.
Okay.
In September we spoke right here in Reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been speaking around Massachusetts when I've been home. But we, in today's world, you got an airplane, or they want the race car, you jump in the truck or the airplane and you go wherever you gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if the further and more wide you go, your name gets around and your reputation gets around, and that's good.
Yes, When we were traveling a lot with a race car, we just make a stop at schools all around the racetrack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it doesn't seem to matter how big it is, because I've seen pictures where it's a massive crowd.
Yes.
That you're talking to.
Yeah, I've done, I don't know what the largest group, I did a couple thousand people at one event, and I've done 25 people, at one event.
It goes. Is it majority of it Votech?
The majority of the schools tend to be vocational schools, but honestly, that's because a lot of administration in academia schools see the racing and the race car, and they think that the presentation is based around racing. And the presentation is not based around racing.
No.
Tell you a story. I was speaking at a local high school, and I said, would you like me to bring the race car? And they said, no, that's not necessary. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there was, I think, 200 plus kids in the audience. And the principal came in and listened. And when the presentation was done, and, you do a meet and greet and Q&As after, that was all done. The principal was just so happy. He goes, wow, I really screwed up. Next time when you come, you got to bring the race car.
I think the academic world tends to look at that racing part of it as more not really something they would do at their school, but the Votech. Go to the Votech.
Yes.
But like you're saying, you're not talking about how to fine tune a race car. You're talking about life.
Yeah. Right. I'm not even talking about a race car. It's all about a positive attitude, education, passion, determination, and teamwork. The 5 tools for your life's toolbox.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And, no matter who you are and what you're doing, those 5 tools are essential.
Yes.
So you're here in Lancaster County. Well, it's Lancaster County. This is Berks County. You're here in Berks County, Maple Grove Raceway.
Oh.
And you started your qualifying yesterday. Is that correct?
Yesterday was a test day. So if you want to make extra passes, you could come and test, and that's what we did yesterday. It's not as stringent as a schedule, and you can take your time. This is our first race of the year, and so we wanted to make sure, you know, you got, as we say, you got to blow the dust off, get the cobwebs out. So we got the crews all here, and we made 2 passes yesterday. The first one wasn't great, but we learned from it, and the second pass was awesome.
We heard that was your best time ever.
No, best time here was a 5.50 second run, so what we call a 550 at 267 miles an hour in the quarter mile.
That's
our best run ever is 5.42 seconds at 273 miles an hour, I think. So yeah.
But that was at a different location.
Yes, but the weather today, Maple Grove is known for being a very fast racetrack.
Okay.
And with the weather this weekend, it could be really fast.
Yeah, it's not humid out. It's not.
It's very dry. It's cool. The sun's out. So, you know, going back to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. This is a playground for us. But we can make a lot of power and hopefully have a lot of fun.
But like you're saying, I mean, I assume, obviously, if it's raining, that's a no-go probably. But I would assume humid conditions slow you down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the air is thicker.
Yes.
And you don't really think about that in everyday life, but when you're talking hundredths of a second in a car, that weather.
Yes.
I would even assume if you're driving into the wind versus the wind blowing behind you would make a difference.
Oh, it does. Absolutely. Yes. And it's just like a human. When it's cool, dry air, we have more energy than when it's hot and humid.
Okay.
The car does work the same way.
Would you have to, based on the weather, make slight adjustments to your car, or that isn't something that you could necessarily tweak due to the weather?
Oh no, we tweak it as the weather changes every hour.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And that tweaking is mainly in what parts of the car?
It can be as much as adjusting the clutch and how the clutch works. You can change the gears in the transmission, or if it's not major changes, you just change your fuel mixture and sometimes your timing on the engine.
Okay.
So there's many adjustments you can make. Tire pressure, clutch, you know, what we call static weight or finger weight, gear ratios in the transmission, compression ratio, fuel ratio, engine timing. There's a variety.
I would assume, I don't even know why I thought of this, but you're telling me all these adjustments. I would assume if your driver weighed 130 pounds versus 300 pounds, that would be a benefit if your driver didn't weigh as much?
Yeah, the lighter the driver,
the faster it'll go.
Well, what it is the lighter the driver, you can put the weight where you want it. Because we all have a minimum weight we have to weigh.
So you can't strip down.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. The car has to weigh 2,300 pounds.
Okay.
And really, you want to really be at least 10 pounds over that.
Okay.
Because the scales can vary. So if you don't weigh enough, your run gets disqualified.
Okay.
And if you're in eliminations, you get disqualified.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's something I never knew. Like I just thought,
like a jockey.
Like I thought you're trying
to
make your car as light as possible, but you're limited by that. You can't go under this weight.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not changing some little guy for me in midstream.
Right.
That would throw it off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Well, and that I guess that makes a little more sense, because then every car is bound by that guideline.
Yeah.
So every car is probably weighing. I would guess every car weighs within 20 pounds of any other car.
Yeah.
Really?
At one point, we were 100 pounds. We had a car that was 100 pounds overweight. So cars vary, but you just can't be lighter than 23.
Okay. All right. Well, that's I learned that.
Very interesting.
I'm not a car guy.
No.
Right. And weight equals speed and ET. Because the more weight you have, the more the engine has to carry that weight. So you're making it do more work, and you have to get that mass moving.
Right.
So where we have such a small window of time to get the car moving, the lighter it is, the quicker it will move.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So you explained that your brother got you into this, and it brings up family. And the last time we were with you, you had talked about in your younger days, you know, you had living in Massachusetts, you had a wife and kids, and so like what's the status there? Are your kids involved in this?
My kids are not involved in this. I have a daughter who lives in my area on Cape Cod. She has a dog grooming business, Pampered Paws. And I have a son in Florida, a stepson that's on the Cape, and he works in the excavation business. So my stepson traveled with us for a number of years as a volunteer. Then he learned about making money.
Because we all have bills to pay.
Right. Yeah. So they're fans of it, but they don't travel with me or do it.
Yeah. That's and normally, like, you know, my son and my stepson, they do their own thing. They have no real, like, obviously they could care less about trivia or podcasts.
Right. Yeah, we're all different. We all have our own interests and our own dreams.
Yes,
so you want them to follow their dreams.
Yeah, right. Yeah, follow their dreams, not my dreams.
Right, exactly.
I never had to arrest any of my three boys either. So
that's always good.
You mentioned your stepson, I guess it was, that is in the excavating business, and I just saw on Facebook. Now this sort of amazed me. I saw a video of you on Facebook operating a smaller piece of excavating equipment of some sort, digging a hole.
Yeah, right.
Like, how do you know where you're digging? I don't want to be stupid.
How'd that come about?
Well, it's a long story, but the short version is I lost the neutral, the main power into my house from the telephone pole, and we had to run new power lines to the house, so we had to dig a trench, and we rented a mini excavator to dig the trench. And a friend of mine, Larry, he runs heavy equipment, so Larry was really the brains behind the operation. He ran the excavator and dug the trench, but I couldn't let it go without playing with it for a little while. So
I'm sitting there thinking, this is actually amazing, but how does the dude know he's not digging into something he's not supposed to?
Well, you know, as I like to say, my eyes don't work, but I borrow other people.
Yeah, that's good. Just following that red line on where to dig might not be the answer.
I thought maybe you were like the Who opera Tommy, the blind guy who plays pinball. I thought maybe you dug by sense of smell or something.
Well, you know, I don't have smell either.
Well, then it's good you could joke about it.
I am so lucky to be alive and grateful for what I have, you know. We have to enjoy life. We're so fortunate with, you know, the country we're in and just all the freedoms we have, you know, especially here on Memorial Day weekend. We just got to recognize how incredibly fortunate we are to live in America and have the freedom to do what we do.
That is true, and you know, on a day-to-day basis, a lot of us, more than, I mean, even me, who has a pretty damn good fun time every day, but we tend to bitch and moan about things, but I think we do that because, at least in my part, I never lived in another country where you didn't have the freedom we do here.
Right.
So, you know, even though we have tons of freedom, there, you know, you always want a little more.
I mean, really, it's all we know. This is where we live.
Right.
You know?
And so we, you know, if somebody moved here from, I don't know, like a dictatorship or you know, a country where you couldn't do this or you're going to get executed.
Right.
All of a sudden, it looks real good in America.
Right.
But to us Americans, we tend to forget or have nothing to compare it to. So we have a little bad day, or we got to pay a little taxes, and that's the end of the world.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to live here, and just frankly have the freedom to, if you have a dream, you can pursue.
Yeah, no, you can.
Really, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I unfortunately not enough people understand that.
Yeah.
Too many people I became a machinist, and I sort of got, I'd say, stuck in the trade. I got to be making decent money, and then at what age with kids can you change a job? Can you chase a dream when you got bills to pay? It's good. It's nice you're going to these schools to try and tell these kids when they're still have the freedom of no family, no house payment. Now's the time to chase your dream.
Right. And I laugh because it's so funny. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school, and you hear it today all the time, I just can't wait to get out of high school.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And you know what? You get out of school, you become an adult with all these responsibilities, and you're like, oh God.
Now I'll give myself credit here. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know my dream when I was in high school, but I was one of the rare few that I didn't want to leave high school, because I knew that once I get out of there, I got 50, 60 years of work.
Right.
And so to me, I would have went to high school another 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
I'd go back now if I wouldn't get some sort of
right.
creep.
I was the other end of the spectrum, and while I was in high school, I was doing the co-op program and working half a a day of my senior year.
No,
I was in the other end. I couldn't get out of high school quick enough.
Yeah,
I sucked at it.
I liked
Me too.
I sucked at it. It just wasn't for me.
I wouldn't say I wasn't. I mean, I did all right grade-wise, and I didn't enjoy homework, but I enjoyed. And I wasn't, like, I didn't when I was young, I didn't talk to many people. I was very backwards, but I still liked school. Like, I liked going to school rather than being at home.
Okay.
Like, I didn't even like summer vacation.
Yeah, you're on. You're backwards for sure, Kelly.
That's for sure.
Well, back in those days, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have
Right.
2 channels on TV. There just wasn't a whole lot to do most of the time.
Well, I still would have rather not been. And that's one of the things we talk about when I'm at schools is, it is an amazing time, and you really need the foundation that you're getting in school. But it doesn't, you have your whole life ahead of you. There's so much to learn, so many things that can happen and will happen. It's awesome.
Yeah. When school is the time to try things. Like, it's the only time in your life where you're going to get a chance to play sports and do plays or learn a musical instrument or whatever. That's your time to do it. And I played football. I didn't do a lot of sports. I wished I would have did more. I wished I would have learned in music class. I wished I would have picked an instrument and learned how to play it. Now,
Well, you still can.
Well, I still can, but it's
not the dream.
Right.
It sort of is. I guess I'm not. It's a little bit of a dream, but not enough to motivate me to put the time in to become good at it. Is, I guess, what I would say. It's more a fantasy, not a dream.
So what's the rest of the weekend look like for you?
Today, we have 3 qualifying attempts, and then we'll get the car ready for tomorrow evening, which will be elimination. So tomorrow night, there's a big show here at Maple Grove called the Night of Chaos, and 5, 7, and 9 will be eliminations. And we hope we're getting the car ready for the finals at 9 o'clock. Make it a late night.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
And you're posting very often on your progress through all this on Facebook.
Yes. Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias, our website, followatdream.org. We're always out there.
Yeah. No, I see a fair amount of your posts.
And anybody watching the podcast, if you have interest in Follow Dream, me coming to speak, you can reach out through the website, followdream.org, and send us an inquiry, and we'll reach out and get something set up.
Yeah, by all means. very interesting gentleman.
Oh yeah.
I find it
Very.
fascinating that I actually told a guy at work at my part-time machinist job just yesterday that I was coming here, and his brother-in-law is a super race fan. He comes here a lot. I don't even know his brother-in-law, but I told him, being we were in a machine shop, that when I met you the first time, you told me about how you learned to run a milling machine after you were blind.
Yes.
And he couldn't, well, I can't really fathom it, but he said, how do you even know where the part you're working on is?
Well, it's right where you put it.
Yeah.
You know,
I see a lot of guys in my trade, these younger guys, who can see exactly what they're doing, and they still can't do it right.
Well, I didn't say I did it right. I just say I do it. The problem is when you don't have something fastened properly, when it goes pa-ding, then you go, oh God, where did it go?
Yeah.
And you're very happy it didn't hit
Right.
you.
Yeah, by the time you hear the ding, if it didn't already hit you, you know you're okay.
Right. Yes.
So, as far as the rest of the year, are you back here at all the rest of the year?
Yes, we'll be back here in September.
Oh, at the big
Shindig Keystone event in September, which is where the whole dream started. So Maple Grove sentimentally is a big racetrack for me.
Sort of like your home.
Yes.
Home.
Yes. Yeah.
How many other races, from now till September, are you booked every weekend?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
This year we're going to do 3. We're here, then we'll be in New England Dragway in Epping, New Hampshire, and then we'll be back here in September.
Oh,
because we're looking for sponsorship.
Oh, well, yeah.
Anybody out there that has an interest, again, feel free to look us up on followadream.org, and we can do great marketing promotion pieces and market to tomorrow's next customer through our speaking program. So
that's a big deal too. I mean, you sort of have an inside track to tomorrow's next
customer.
People, because when you're speaking at Votex and stuff, and you got a sponsor, you're probably going to mention that sponsor at your.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that word's getting out to a lot of 18-year-old kids.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 15 on up. You think about it, McDonald's, Snap-on Tools, Google, just to name a couple.
Yeah.
They've realized when you start marketing to younger ages, you're building brand awareness and you get customers for life. And it's not instant gratification, which a lot of people are into today.
Right.
But it's building, again, goes back to that foundation like we talk about learning in school. You're building the foundation for your company for a long history of customers.
Yeah. Well, speaking of kids, I mean, it has nothing to do with racing, but I watch a lot of Sunday evenings. I'll watch it's called The Food That Built America. It's on the History Channel. But McDonald's, when they were competing with Burger King in the early days, one of the McDonald's people came up with the idea for the Happy Meal for kids. And he said to Ray Kroc, Ray Kroc said, "What's that?" And the guy said, "If we can get the kids, the parents will follow." And they advertised to the kids, and the kids all wanted to go to McDonald's. Yeah. And so that's where their parents took them. And so,
as a kid, that was one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think I ever had it. I don't even know if a Happy Meal was a thing when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was.
No, McDonald's was for me, though.
Well, I bet a Happy Meal was, too.
I don't know. Trivia question.
When
did the Happy Meal start?
The first Happy Meals, I think they did say it was in because I graduated in 79. I think it was 79 is the first Happy Meals.
Oh, okay.
So I would have been beyond Happy Meals, but I don't know. I don't even think there was McDonald's in Effort. Well, there was after I got out of high school, but I never got out of Denver. So if it was in Effort, I didn't know it was there. There was no McDonald's in Denver.
There wasn't. There was an Effort, though. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where we hung out. We hung out.
We ate banquet bags.
Okay.
Yeah, that was our hangout.
So when you guys are here, now we're in the kitchen area of your tractor trailer.
Yes.
Your dining room area. Where, your whole crew is down here, and I don't know how many people that entails, but where do they all sleep?
There's 11 of us here. We have a few hotel rooms.
Oh, okay.
Phil Burkhardt has his motor home.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we're all spread out.
Okay. I didn't
Yes.
know. I didn't know if everybody crammed into the trailer and had bunks in there.
No, fortunately, it's mostly a volunteer crew, so we try and get them a nice bed and a nice shower.
Yeah.
Well, that's an incentive.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and the last time we were here, and I see this time too, you guys always have plenty of food.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah,
plenty of food
You
here.
got to keep everybody fed. Because,
Yeah.
you know, we're here and we're working very hard,
Yeah.
and it can be a very long day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to keep everybody fed and full of liquids and try and keep them smiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all want to be here, but sometimes it's not so fun.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, I
yeah,
get
it's fun. You enjoy it, but every now and then it
It's
really
work.
seems like a job.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but on the camping side of the world, you know what I mean? It's kind of like camping. I saw you had a Blackstone out there.
Yes.
Oh, that's good stuff right there.
As my brother calls it, camping with a purpose.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, there's probably almost 500 race cars here this weekend. And I bet 80% of them have motorhomes.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And they bring families, because there's junior dragsters, which are half-scale dragsters that started with a 5-horsepower Briggs & Stratton on it. So kids at 7 years old can be involved.
Oh, okay.
So there are kids involved with their parents and all ages. Drag racing is an incredibly strong family sport, and it's really, really awesome to see it.
Yeah, no, and that's news to me because I never followed drag racing, and I just thought, it's a bunch of motorheads on a weekend getting
Right.
together.
It's a very, very family-oriented sport. Mhm.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have known that.
No,
but
until we were here last
yeah,
fall.
oh yeah, and there was
you
a
can
million
feel it.
people
You
here.
can feel the power in these ends. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is the next level.
Yeah.
You can check Maple Grove's website, but I think like Wednesday night or Friday night, they have street night. You can bring your street car here and race it and just see what racing's like on the same track that they're going to go 300 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
that's great.
We're going to go 260, 270 miles an hour today.
Yeah.
And you can bring your own car down, your street car, and just try it and check it out.
Yeah.
Mine's parked over in the park.
Right. No, not this weekend.
Subaru probably won't have the
But
speed.
I do have a question about that. When you the Wednesday night or whatever, where you can bring your own car and
Yes.
run down the track. I remember years ago working in a machine shop where there was some guys that worked there that did that, but like there they sort of indicated they had to, like, before they went down the track, they had to sort of predict what their time was going to be, and the closer they got to that time was more important than how fast they went. Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's called bracket racing.
Okay.
And everything we do here is based on time. It's all about your ET. It's not about your mile an hour. Mile an hour shows how much power you have, and it can be you're flexing your muscle.
Right.
But what wins races is ET, not mile an hour.
Right. But like, in other words, they would say before they took off down the track, they would say, I think I'm going to go down this track in 10.9 seconds. And if they went down in 10.8 or 11.1 and somebody else hit it right on the nose, the somebody else that hit that time right on the nose was the winner.
Right. And I know those of you listening right now, you're thinking he makes no sense, or you're very confused, which I totally understand.
That's what I took it as.
I'll try and explain it very simply.
Okay.
It's called bracket racing, and if you have a car that can do the quarter mile in 8 seconds, and a car that can do the quarter mile in 10 seconds, what will happen is we use a Christmas tree, which is a lighting system to start the race. The 10-second car, its green light will come on telling it to go 2 seconds before the car that runs the quarter mile in 8 seconds.
Okay.
So in theory, when they get to the finish line, they're neck and neck.
Okay.
And that's the idea of bracket racing.
Right.
In today's world, it's measured in thousandths of a second,
Yeah.
not seconds.
Right.
But
Right.
yes.
Okay.
But that's what
Okay.
bracket racing is built around and based on, trying to make it competitive for everybody.
Right. Okay.
And there are cars that literally can be a second or two apart and race each other, and the slower car can win.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
What you said about miles per hour as compared to time down the track, I mean, you could hit a high mile per hour, but if you get off the line late or you're swerving or whatever, that's going to affect your time.
Yes.
Not so much your miles per hour.
Correct.
So that's So
Yeah.
it's not just how fast, but it's how quick you get off the line, how straight your car's going,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so many people go, it's a straight line. There is so much goes into that one straight
Yeah.
line.
Well, and when you're going 270 mile an hour, it's hard to stay on a straight line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's,
The car doesn't want to go straight, but the driver keeps it straight. That's why I don't drive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If they had a selfless, driverless car
right,
like they're
right.
coming out with
Yeah.
now, maybe someday there'll be a driverless car and you can ride down the track.
Right. Yes.
That's cool. But
Yes.
all right. Well, got anything more to add?
I'm all set. Again, if you have questions or you want more information, please check us out at followdream.org. And if you're in the area, come check out Maple Grove Raceway. It's really cool.
Yeah.
We'll be back here in September.
And if you want to come, this weekend would be ideal if you're new to this because even though there's people here, it is not the zoo. It is in September.
No, that is correct.
So if you're a first timer, it might be a neat time to come this weekend, see the fireworks, whatever, rather than come here for your first time like we did last year in September. And I honestly expected I'm going to get here and there's going to be 200 people, and there was 200,000 people here. So if you're thinking of coming out, this weekend would be an ideal time, really.
Absolutely.
And if you see anybody with a, follow your dream shirt
Right,
on,
yep.
definitely say hi.
Yeah.
You heard it.
Yeah, he's right behind the stands on the at the track this time.
Yeah, and if you come out and you come over to Follow Dream, remember, you got to say hi to me first because you'll see me before I'll see you.
Yeah. And he's dead serious about it. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in to another podcast. Again, this was only our second one this year, but we're happy to have been back here at Maple Grove, and maybe we'll come back in September again.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll be veterans at that point.
Right.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
No,